Okay, let's dive into a playbook that's going to totally change how you think about content. We're about to break down how to turn one great piece of work into an entire system of assets that just keeps working for you 24/7. This isn't just about making more stuff. It's about multiplying your impact without actually multiplying your workload. So, does this sound familiar to you? You spend hours, maybe even days, crafting an amazing piece of content. You hit publish, you see that little burst of attention, and then poof, it just vanishes, sinking into the abyss of the algorithm. If you're tired of that one and done cycle, you are absolutely in the right place. So this right here, this is the big mindset shift we're talking about. On the left, that's the old way. One asset, pretty low reach, and forgotten in a flash. On the right, that's the goal. Turning that one piece into 10, maybe even more, discoverable assets. Suddenly you have multiple ways for people to find you, creating a system of continuous discovery. It is a total game changer. So, how do we actually do this? It all comes down to what we call the content multiplier effect. The core idea is actually pretty simple. You systematically go back and mine your existing content for these high impact moments. Think of these moments as little breadcrumbs or discovery signals that lead people right back to your main content. So, what exactly is a moment? Well, it's simple but incredibly powerful. It's just a short, high-impact clip, usually somewhere between 30 and 60 seconds long, that you pull from your bigger piece of content. But here's the crucial part. It has to do one thing, and one thing only. It either answers one specific question, or it shows one clear action. That's it. No fluff, just pure value. Alright, so we know what a moment is. The big question is, how do you actually find these little golden nuggets in your content? Well, the good news is there's a simple 4-step process for mining that gold. Okay, here's the process. First, you scan for hooks. You're looking for those provocative statements, surprising stats, or really clear how-to steps. Second, you measure. Use tools like retention graphs to see where engagement spikes. You're literally looking for where people paid the most attention. Third, prioritize. Ask yourself, does this clip answer one question or show one action? Be ruthless. And finally, step 4, timestamp and tag. Just jot down the start and end times and a few keywords so you can find it easily later. Okay, so you found your moments? Awesome. Now what? Well, the next step is packaging them up so they absolutely pop on social media. And luckily, there is a simple repeatable formula to turn them into these high impact short videos. This is the secret sauce right here. A perfect short video follows a super simple 4-part formula. A hook, then the value, some proof, and finally a CTA. Let's walk through each one. First up, and honestly this is the most critical part, the hook. You've got, maybe 3 to 5 seconds to stop someone from scrolling. You need a compelling question or a shocking stat that just grabs them. Something like, want to cut your content production in half? It's direct, it's intriguing, and it promises immediate value. Alright, you've hooked them, now you have to deliver. That's where the value nugget comes in. In the next 15 seconds or so, you're giving them the how or the why. You're not teasing, you're not holding back. You're giving them the actual solution or insight they stopped scrolling for. Okay, you've told them the what. Now you've got to show them. That's the proof. This is where you make it real and believable. It could be a super quick demo, a simple before and after image, or just a tangible example. This is what builds that credibility and shows people that your solution actually works. And last, but definitely not least, the CTA, the call to action. Look, don't just leave them hanging, you have to tell them exactly what to do next. And the key here is a single, crystal clear action. Not follow, subscribe, and hit the bell, but something specific like read the full checklist at the link in bio. This drives them right back to your original content. You know, making these awesome clips is really only half the battle. I mean, what's the point if nobody ever finds them, right? This brings us to discoverability, which is all about using metadata to tell search engines and AI exactly what your content is about. So let's break this down, because it might look a little technical, but it's actually super straightforward. For your title, keep it short and focus on the benefit. For the description, just use a one-line value statement and your link. And this is a big one. Always publish the full transcript. This makes your video totally readable by search engines. And finally, schema. Think of it like a cheat sheet you're handing to Google to help it understand and feature your content. Now, doing this once is great, but to really make it sustainable, you can't be doing everything manually every single time. The real goal here is to build a repeatable content engine, and that means using smart automation and measurement to scale the whole process. Now, when it comes to automation, the trick is to be smart about it. Use it for all that time-consuming, tedious stuff. Transcribing, captioning, and creating different versions for different platforms. But, and this is a big but, you always need to keep a human in the loop. You need that final review for brand voice, for tone, and just for basic fact-checking. It's the best of both worlds, really. So, how do you actually know if all this work is paying off? You've got to measure the right things. Keep an eye on your view completion rate. Are people actually watching to the end? Look at your click-through rate. Are they clicking back to your source content? And most importantly, are you seeing those downstream conversions? Are those clicks turning into actual leads or signups for your business? So, what does good actually look like? Here are some solid targets you can aim for. Try to get a 50% completion rate. That means half your viewers are finishing the video. A 40% average view duration is a great sign that you're holding their attention. And if you see something like a 15% lift in your click-through rate, that's a clear signal your discovery strategy is really working. And that brings us full circle. Back to the most important question of all. You've already done the hard work. You've created some great long-form content. So now it's time to ask yourself, what hidden value is just sitting there in your archives, waiting to be unlocked?